Recently, I did something that I typically try very hard to avoid. I left my house. And not just to do something mundane and solitary like go to the grocery store or graffiti an underpass, but to do something unusual and somewhat social, attend a concert. In many ways, this is an activity that I very much enjoy, since I was raised with a love of music and grew up in a house where my dad had speakers installed in literally every room and loved to wake up my sister and I with Harry Belafonte blasting directly into our brains at 6 a.m. if we forgot to turn the speakers off. And I was even raised with a love of live music, as a local farmer's grange used to transform into a sweaty den of patchouli and reverb on the weekends, and starting in late elementary school, my friends and I could almost always get someone's parents to take us out there whenever there was a concert. But sadly, as deep as my love of music goes, my general weirdness about existing in large crowds almost always wins out when I'm actually at a concert. So while I imagine that at least some of my neighbors in the crowd must be like vibing, simply existing in the music and the atmosphere, flowing, communing, engaging uncritically in that awe-inspiring symbiosis between artist and audience, that two-directional transmission of joy between spectator and living art, my thoughts get as tangled up as spaghetti, the cooked kind of course, and I start contemplating everything from the meditation techniques World Cup soccer players must employ to deal with bad refs to the honestly scary Instagram prowess of the 10-year-old girl sitting in front of me instead of the music. And even worse than that, when I can somehow manage to focus on the tune, I always catch myself unconsciously humming along in a super deep register the same way I do with the engine when I drive big trucks. And it's not just that I'm getting more agoraphobic with age either. Even my memories of the farmer's grange, laced with the tangy odors of BO and pot smoke, in a hall so dark you could barely make out your neighbor's face, with the bass pounding through your chest like a second heartbeat, don't survive the scrutiny of time, at least on a self-consciousness level, because after the first concert I attended, I felt so awkward about simply moving my body in public that I spent hours practicing how to dance as unembarrassingly as possible in my dad's dressing room mirror whenever the rest of my family was out of the house. Which was a complete waste of time, of course. I didn't have to get very much older to realize that some creepy guy is always willing to rub his boner against your backside in a crowd, no matter how badly you dance. And actually, maybe that's where I went wrong at the recent show. We got seats. If we'd been in the pit, it's almost guaranteed that some kind of distraction would have popped up.